What's up, everybody? In this video, I want to talk about a fairly recent composition of mine. We're going to look at the Agnus Dei from Missa Brevis that I wrote fairly recently for unison choir and organ. This piece is designed to be easy and quick to learn for singers of a very wide range of skill levels, whilst also sounding like classic choral repertoire. I've got the score here with me. We're going to dive into this to talk about what's going on before listening to a recording of the piece that I created using AI. Also, too, if you're interested in making sort of octavo scores like this, I've got a video on how I do this, how I made this particular score. So definitely check that out if you're a composer who wants to make your music feel and look more real to singers. All right, so we're in the score here, looking at the first page of the Agnus Dei. We're going to start off with this organ interlude, this organ accompaniment with sort of descending chromatic thing happening in the left hand. This whole movement, it's a softer sort of more exposed piece. So the organ's going to be all entirely on manuals, no pedal here. So we're really like you could very easily do this on piano, but it's written in mind to be done on an organ with two manuals. You've got this sort of descending chromatic thing going on in the bass with an arpeggiated sort of counter melody. I would say my inspiration for this sort of style of accompaniment, and honestly more broadly across the rest of this Agnus Dei, was the Imperadissum from the No.3 Requiem. So it definitely has the same sort of vibe. So the text of the Agnus Dei is, "O Lamb of God, that takest away the sin of the world, have mercy upon us." That repeats, and then we end off with, "O Lamb of God, that takest away the sin of the world, grant us thy peace." So what we're going to do here is that text lends itself really well to having sort of three very similar sections. So we have the first, "O Lamb of God, that takest away the sin of the world, have mercy upon us," coming in with the men, a sort of a light, broad but light melody, I would say. And then we flip the page over, there's a bit of an overlap, and then we give that exact same melody with the exact same accompaniment to the women, right? And that's going to give us, we're dealing with unison melodies here, but that's going to give us some contrast. That's going to keep the piece interesting, right? This is only a short little thing, so you really don't want to go and have a whole bunch of different ideas that people are going to have to learn, and that audiences or listeners, people in the service, are going to have to follow, right? So we repeat the text and we repeat the melody just in a way that's going to bring in a little bit of contrast, a textural contrast. Short sort of organ interlude here after the women finish singing the melody, and then they're all going to come back together, right? So you have the entire choir singing for that last third stanza. It's going to end a little differently, right? Our text is a bit different. So what happens here is we repeat the grant us, slows down, and then we have this sort of money chord down here. I'll say this in advance that, the Sibelius playback of the organ doesn't really do this chord justice, I would say. And then we kind of fade away to nothing, and end off with that accompaniment that brought us in. So on that note, let's have a listen to this thing.
Takest away the sin of the world, have mercy upon us.
Lamb of God, that takest away the sin of the world, have mercy upon us.
O Lamb of God, that takest away the sin of the world, grant us thy peace.
So that was the Agnus Dei from my most recent Missa Brevis. I think this AI demo turned out decently well. Put it this way, I think it would be valuable to give this to singers in advance of maybe working on this piece, right? It's an accurate depiction of what's going on here. Is it musical? Like, no. But it captures what's happening in the piece, and I think there's something to be said for that. It makes it possible to have a conversation about your work in a way that you would not be able to have if you were just like using your Sibelius playback.